Hey guys, welcome back to episode 6 of Anything Goes with Sania and Leah. So today we are joined by Hannah, exciting, who is our first guest actually.
It is our first guest.
Yeah, our first guest, which is exciting. So Hannah's going to do a little bit of an intro in a sec, just to kind of explain like her background with competing and a little bit about her. But yeah, essentially competed with PCA, figure competitor, pro, PCA pro.
Yeah,
So,
you're a good candidate for this, and you're definitely going to give us some like information that, you know, like these viewers information that they need to know as well. So we thought it was like better for you to come on and just like spread the word.
Get it on. Yeah, that's what I'm here.
So do you want to introduce yourself and let everyone know?
Yes, so I'm Hannah. So in terms of competing background, in 2021 I did toned figure. That's where I came second, but that was more just I only wanted to do one show. That was it. That was the only goal. Just hop on stage, do one, and that was done. And then quit. I'm never doing it again. And then so I didn't have my coach, left that, and then I didn't have any routine. So then I was like, okay, I need to do something. And then that's when I signed up with Dan. And then when I signed up with Dan, I was a bit like, I don't think I'm going to compete. And then here we are, 2022, competed, did Midlands, and then did finals, got a pro card and all that jazz. And then yeah, now here we are, ready for round 3.
That's mental. It's absolutely mental, like how, because you were literally last year, like I remember you being like the talk of the town. Like you were like, because even in like Team Evo's group chat, they were like, have you seen this Hannah girl? And this was like, I think, no,
that's what I found mental.
Yeah, like everyone was like, oh my god, like she's gonna be doing athletic. And because I knew you from, because you competed the same season as me.
Yeah.
And we were like talking throughout each other's prep and stuff. And I remember being really, really scared because I was like, shit, I'm against her. And I was like, fuck. Thank God you didn't come to the finals. That was a good thing. Because
that was it, yeah, because I was meant to do finals, but I didn't have a clue about anything. I didn't know what an overall was, what the finals were. So then I was just like, no, I don't need to do it. And I was like, oh, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I was just like, no, you're done.
Good thing you didn't, for me, anyway. But no, it's just mental because I remember you being like, literally the talk of the chat, and like your stuff would come up all the time. And I was like, hold on a minute, I know this girl, like not personally, but I know her from social media. And then like you come out, and then obviously you win absolutely everything, and it was just like, fucking hell, who knew? I think
that dog.
No, I think it's a win. The win.
I remember actually watching your Midland show. So I watched you compete at the Midland. Is that where you won the overall?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually watched
I just knew of you. Yeah.
And I never I don't think we'd ever really spoken before. Maybe like a couple of like Instagram comments or something, but we'd never really spoken. And I remember saying to all the hot dogs, oh my god, look at that girl, look at her shoulders.
But throughout the whole of my prep, I want Leah's shoulders. I want to look like her.
Your structure and your level of muscle is like ridiculous. Because I remember seeing you for toned figure, and I genuinely think that if you came in like a little bit leaner for your first show, like you would have just absolutely wiped the floor with everyone. Like
the aim was to do athletic, and then it's just like the thing is, you just don't know what you're doing when it's the first time out, do you?
You don't, and you know, like you trust the people who, you know, like you just go, this is what I did. I was just like, right, you just tell me what to do. Yeah. And I didn't do much research at all. I knew like what needed to be done and all that kind of stuff, but you don't.
Oh, I didn't know anything, literally. Like the first show that I did, because I didn't know that swords were a thing. Because I think because I did June, I think that was like the first lot after lockdown or something like that.
Yeah.
I just knew I had a table booking for like 7 or 8 p.m. And I was like, well, I don't want to come first and have to wait all day. This is how like naive I was. I don't want to wait all day just to win a sword. Like I'd rather go out and have a good night. Now,
you like, a sword.
Yeah. You could have 2 swords. You could have.
No, honestly, so literally, then last year I was like, right, we're waiting it out. We're not even bothered about food this year. We're just gonna wait it out.
That's literally what I'm like this year, because I remember being obviously with your first prep and stuff, like within the diet, you're like, I remember having the same thought with my first show. I literally said to Tom, I was like, wait, hold on a minute. Does that mean I have to stay here all day? And he was like, do I have to do the overall? And he was like, yes. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. But I was just thinking, I just want to eat, because you can't then eat in between, because you're like, you're going for
when you're not mentally prepared, it's just like, literally, it's like with Midlands that year, the one that's just gone. I came first. My friends were like, oh, can we have photos? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, no, we're not finished yet. We're not done. I was like, we need a sword. And then we're done. We can have photos.
That's so cool though. Like it's nice to see. It's nice to hear, like, obviously successful women, and like coming from like absolute naivety, which I think all of us pretty much get from, and that's why we started this podcast, so that people don't have to make the mistakes that maybe we made.
Yeah, it's like a mistake, but I think it's good as well.
So I was just thought of it, a question. How did you find, you know, when you went, obviously you did your first prep and you did your toned prep, how did you find like the difference in like your prep when you went into the, you know, like the second time you did it, like when you did your athletic figure prep, how did you find the difference in the preps? Because you were with a different coach both times.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I found toned figure harder.
Really?
Yeah, because towards the end, like I wasn't ready in time. Like I could have been a lot leaner, but so for that like last 2-3 weeks, that was just like a wash. Whereas like for athletic, when we were down, it was more the case of you were ready. Like you don't ever think you're ready, but like I was ready. And then if you're dying, was I saying this to you? It was Meg. If you like when you're like 10 weeks out or whatever, and you don't look like you're lean, but you're dying, that's not like the fun part. But when you look like you're dying and you feel like you're dying, then it's okay. Whereas like when I was doing toned figure, I was dying, but I wasn't like what I should look like for that energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you, Shania looks like she's about to like.
I'm still like prep is good.
You're really selling it. So when you look like you're prepping and you feel like you're prepping, it's okay. But when you feel like you're prepping but you don't look like you're prepping, it's not okay.
Right, okay, so it's basically what everyone's saying. You know, when someone's like, oh, I'm absolutely killing myself here, and they still look 20 weeks out or whatever. And you're like, really?
Yeah. So if you're putting all the graft in, you want to at least look it, don't you?
Yeah. Do you know what though? I found at the beginning, like, I think because I was so naive, I didn't know what to expect for my first prep. So far, if I look back at my first prep, actually at this point to where I am now in comparison now, I found my first prep a lot easier, because I am more like educated in like what goes on and like what to expect, and I can have like a say in what I think should be like what should be introduced and what I should do and all that kind of stuff. Because before I was like, yeah, Tom, whatever, take my food, blah, give me food, whatever. This time, because I'm so much more, I feel like switched on with kind of like the whole process of it, I'm a lot more conscious, and I constantly feel like 3 steps behind. Does that make sense? And because my prep was longer last time, like a lot longer, I almost feel like I'm so far behind, because like how many weeks in and how many weeks out, I look completely different. So I'm almost like finding this one a little bit harder to this point, just because I have already an expectation of where I should be at.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to find hard this third prep.
Yeah.
Right to last year, and then that's when I think I'll be like, where are we going?
Because like how many weeks you'll start, like, which is what I've done, you'll start comparing photos to how many weeks out you were before, but then I get like, well, I've actually only been in a prep for 6 weeks today, but this time last time I was in how many other weeks, because I did such a longer prep. So it's just a massive like, oh, I thought this would be a lot easier, and I was finding it easier until like a couple of weeks, and now like it's that mental game of like, this is completely different. Do not even think about the last prep. So it's mad to see like differences to like how you found your first prep to your second prep and stuff. I feel like every prep's different though.
Yeah. What's your POA for prep this year in terms of like shows? Because you start prep like pretty soon, don't you?
What, me?
Yeah, you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll be finals and worlds, hopefully. I say I never like obviously I'm going to commit, but the thought of saying, oh, blah 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 weeks out makes me go a bit like,
yeah.
see. So yeah, I always even like last year, didn't admit it until like 8 weeks out, and people were like, oh, are you prepping for a show? And I was like, I might do, but knowing full well I want to prep. But I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be that.
There's a lot of pressure. As soon as you say a date, this is why I'm keeping mine like completely secret, because people will go, oh my God, you're 12 weeks out. They'll either go, wow, or they'll go, mm-hmm. And it's like they always have an opinion, and whether that's positive or negative, I don't want to hear it. Like even when people don't know that I'm so many weeks out, they say like, you look good, and I appreciate it, but I'm also like, I just don't need to hear anyone else's opinion. Like, I don't need you to insert if I'm too lean for this many weeks out, or if I'm not lean enough, because you haven't seen me yet. Does that make sense? Like, I completely get what you're on about, because it's like, as soon as you commit as well on social media, like, even though like people like a lot of people are like, well, they don't actually care, it doesn't matter. But for you, it's almost like, well, no, like that's like
official then.
That gives me anxiety these days.
We're doing the same shows, Hannah.
Which
is exciting.
I love this though.
Pros are there now? How many figure pros are there? Will it just be you two? Because there was just you and Georgie, no?
And Holly.
So how many pros are there? There'll be more, but by the time that
it's Charlie, Amy, Lee, but obviously she's just announced that she is having a little baby.
I saw that.
Which is cute. I'm not sure, and obviously there'll be a few more turn pro this year because there's universe this year, so there'll be the person that turns pro British as well. So I don't know, but at least we know that us two will be there.
I know, at least we've got some things to like work with. We'll see each other every week, and then we'll see each other on stage. And
also it'll be so fun, like backstage as well, like just being together.
This is it, like, because I remember watching the was it the Wilds or Universe, the one with the expo that I was at? I can't remember, there's so many these days. And it was, if you didn't win pro, it would have just been Georgie, and that was all the pro.
That was Worlds.
Was that Worlds? Because you won your pro card then.
No, I won it in finals, and that's when Holly was there as well.
At the British.
Right, I see. Okay, I get it now.
But we'll see. So let's talk a bit about post show then, because obviously you had your post show after the Toned show in 2021.
Yes.
And then you've obviously had post show from last year, which was like the British, where you win your pro card post show. So how did you find post show the first time you ever competed? Talk through your kind of post show experience.
First time it was a lot harder because you are clueless in that sense. Like, people say, oh, post show's hard, but until you're actually in it, you don't know what the hard part is, if that makes sense. So like for me, coming out the first year, what got me was the off-plan meals. Because like as soon as I come off prep, I'm like, right, back onto the meal plan, because that's how my mind works better. Then with my off-plan meals, it didn't have like set calories. So then as soon as I had that off-plan meal, I was like, what does this mean? Am I free for the whole afternoon? Kind of thing. Or like, if you're going to eat at home, my mind was just like, oh, let's just have another little bit, and another little bit. But then after that, it just takes a few weeks to get used to, a few months, just get let's be honest, it does. It's true. Like, the initial hit happens the first few weeks, and then it starts to fizzle off. Whereas comparing it to last year, I was more aware of what was going to happen. So, and it was like repeating patterns, but because I was aware of the situation, it made it a lot easier to control. So like came out of the show, week one, I was like, right, back on plan, had my little off me after the show, back on plan week one. That's when I was like, you know what, I'm ready to do more shows, like I'm still ready, I'm all right. And this is what happened last year, which is why I didn't want to do the World, because I knew that this is what happened last year, and that's when it like fell off, kind of thing. So yeah, did that, and then you start to a little bit in. Funny bit was, I think I was saying it to you the other day, how like you'll start to add some things in. Like I was obsessed with lollipops and apples.
That's so random.
I couldn't stop eating them, and I think it was just like my pudding. So I was like, no need to eat massive chocolate one at whatever. So on my meal plan, like on my check-in sheet, it was just like, I've gone over on too much fruit and too many lollipops. But really, that's gonna do nothing for you. But when you've been prepping for that long, it's just like that's not okay. And then in the end, so yeah, it kind of had the repeating patterns of the same time. Like I say, when you're more aware of it, it made it easier. And
Yeah,
it's not gonna last forever.
yeah.
So, I just see myself as like on a little boat and you're just riding the wave and so what wave are we on today? Like what boat are we on today? But like in the end you kind of have to go with it and just people.
It is so hard though, like just because your emotions, like you specifically like your first time, like I feel like what a lot of people say is like post show is absolutely never ever easy, like because you go from being structured and routine and having absolutely zero, you are not allowed at all to go veer off from your plan, whether that's training, cardio, food, whatever. And then post show, it's like,
or what not freedom,
and it gets the better of you, like it gets the better of you, and it's like I think even if you know what's happening, like I remember like constantly eating for months and months and months, and I don't think I actually felt the sensation of being genuinely full until like 4 or 5 months. And because we are like, well, we've been food deprived, we deserve it, I'm gonna do it, I don't have anything going on, I'm just gonna eat and eat and eat and eat, you know, like, and then it's just like you're constantly playing with your mind because you eat, but then you look shit, and then you're depressed because you look shit, and then you're hungry because you have been starving, and it's just like a whole mental game because you want to look good, but you feel bad. You don't want to lose the gains, but you want to eat. It's like a whole.
I think the thing with like post show as well is like you are going to still be hungry. Like I think people think sometimes, and I thought this the first time I competed, like, oh, you finish your prep and then brilliant, you just kind of go back to normal. But because you've been so, you know, you've been dieting for so long, and obviously it does accumulate over time. Obviously, then whatever you eat, you are not going to feel satisfied, like because the hormones that are involved in like appetite regulation as well are going to be so all over because of how long you've been dieting for. Like no matter what you eat, you are never going to be full. So I think it's just, I feel like that really helped me on my last prep, just being like, well, this is what I need to eat, that's that, it will come up and it will settle over time. And just knowing that you are still probably going to be quite hungry for like a good couple of months after you show, while your calories do get worked up and while your hormones start to like regulate themselves back out again.
Yeah.
It's what Dan said in terms of like, see your prep, say you've got 20-week prep, see it's like a 24-week prep kind of thing. So it's like you're still in that prep zone. It's like as soon as you do show day, it's like that's not finished yet. You still have to like get yourself out of it in a good position. So that was all right.
That's what I struggled with because I was well unlucky, right? Because as soon as I came off the stage, that following weekend was my 21st birthday. And I was fine until that point. Like I was all right. Like I wasn't like, I was eating food, but I wasn't to the extremes that I did after the 21st. I was like, it's my 21st birthday. I am doing what I want. I'm not on plan. I'm drinking. I am eating. I'm having a good fun. The following day was a complete write-off, and I knew it. And I was like, well, I'm hungover. I'm going to eat what I want. And then that's when I got into that spiraling of constantly making excuses up. And this was like, if we were to like fall onto the tips, like what tips would we give to people who potentially go into post show? One of my tips would be, do not have anything in the house. Do not potion treats. Do not just clear your house. Do not just get, because if it's in your house, I promise you, your mindset will be, oh, I've got to finish it. I've got to finish it. And if you have a shit ton of food in your house, which I did, I think I ate it within like 2-3 days. It was so bad. That's when you then get the habits of, oh, but I need it.
Even like post show for me, I didn't have any like post show meals. Like after the Midlands, I just wanted cream of rice. Because at the time, when you are eating like 30 grams of cream of rice, a big 100-gram bowl of cream of rice, so I was just like, I just want that. And I just remember Dan being like, are you sure that's like all you want? Just cream of rice. Tell me the grams, because that's what I need to know to keep me on track to get me through to my next show. And then even after the finals, because I wasn't really like bothered about eating because we weren't going to get home till like 10, so I just wanted to get to bed. I just had like 2 protein bars, and just the small things, like my friend had little sweets in her car, and I was just like, I'm in a car ride and I can eat these things. So it's just like small things like that, rather than just being like, oh, here's all my stuff that I've collected.
Because you know your mind's on, I know I've got this. I know I've got, and I'm gonna, and you always over, like, I think I had like 12 brownies and I only had 4 friends to share it with, but I only gave them 1 each. So it was like, it just brings you into that habit. Like Reese, for example, he didn't, and I'm gonna adopt yours and Reese's approaches in between shows. I'm not having enough planned meal. I'm not doing it. I will just eat, like you say, maybe some cereal or cream of rice or like a big bowl of oats, just to kind of like, because obviously you don't really eat that day. So I'll just, and maybe like bits of chocolate and stuff. And then after that, because last time I had a full-on Domino's and got my Snickers bar in peanut butter, and I still had a show in 3 weeks. And I think that's another reason why
I know it plays with your mind.
It just, I think it's a really good way that if you've got multiple shows, I think what I would recommend is like, don't eat out in between shows, just eat in plan.
Pick your favourite meal,
because it does fuck with your head, and I can say that from experience. I don't know if Leah, you've ever had that experience.
Yeah, I feel like I had a really bad post show the first time I prepped, but my relationship with food was already like in the gutter. And also my coach actually stopped with me straight after my first show, so I didn't have a coach post show either.
That's important.
And I was already in a really bad place, so I just basically, like, that's when my relationship with food really spiraled. Like, it was awful, really bad, and it took me about 2 years to get my relationship with food back in a good spot after that. But yeah, I feel like I learned so much from that show and the 2 years after, so I feel like it taught me a lot. But I think one of the biggest thing that helped me is just saying, when you're in the house and you're on a normal day, just stick to your normal meals. Like, don't just stick to your normal meals. If you want to have something different, go out and enjoy it out, because it's portion controlled, you're around people, you know. And then it just creates really clear boundaries of, right, this is what I'm doing. Because otherwise, I think when the boundaries start to get a bit ropey and a bit up and down, that's when you're like, oh, I'll just have this, I'll just do that, I'll have a bit more of this, and you just end up feeling super uncomfortable, gaining weight really fast, and then you can't put your food up because you're gaining weight too fast, and you just end up in this really like slippery slope. So I just think, like, suck it up for the first couple of weeks, stick to your plan. If you want to have a meal out, go and enjoy it, and then just stick to the food you've had on prep as well, because you can get, like, going from 30 grams of oats, 30 grams of cereal, 100 grams of potatoes, to like 300 grams of potatoes and like 80 grams of oats and 90 grams of cereal. Like, it feels like so much more food. And you end up feeling then so much more satisfied, rather than just changing all your foods up and eating out loads. And so I think, biggest thing I learned was, like, you know, just stick to your normal foods, stick to your normal meal plan, what you normally have, go and enjoy your meals out. Because what I did after my first prep was, I was like, oh, I can eat this and I can eat that. And I ended up just eating like whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And then before you know it, like, your weight's absolutely through the roof, your calories are still really low, and you're like, what do I do now? And then you end up in this you end up in this really horrible scenario where it's like, well, I either have to diet to bring my body fat back down, which I can't do. I'm like 2 months after.
I was like, can we have a diet now?
So then you're in a really hard situation where you have to accept that, right, you know, I'm going to have to just ride out the fact that I've gained body fat, and I'm going to have to like build my calories up to a good spot and diet later down the line. But then you have obviously a good few months where you have to go through that period of like not feeling great because you're having to gain a lot of body fat. So I think it is really difficult, but I think just stick. You're going to have times, aren't you, as well, where things don't quite go to plan, or you eat a bit more food. Like, you're only human. But I think stick to your normal meals, don't hoard food, don't buy food in, stick to your normal meal timings, and just bulk out your normal meals, because then when you want to go and have a meal out with your family, you can, and you're not then feeling like horrible for it.
Yeah, I like the way Dan does his approach, to be honest with you. Like, obviously post show, which are completely finished, obviously your food like does go up, like, because we want to get you out of that fucking, like, we want the coaches want our hormones back. They obviously want to help society. And I heard this from a podcast, and this was like, must have been like 2 years ago that Dan was on a podcast. Shock horror, because Dan hated internet, I think, back then. But I really like his approach of like free calories, because I feel like for me that would have helped me a lot, in the sense of this is my meals. I don't just want oats, dark chocolate and whey. I actually really fancy to help with my craving. I know I've got 400 like calories or whatever. I'm gonna actually put a Snickers bar with that, to like, just to help, because then I know that I've got that freedom as well as the meal plan. And I feel like that approach, I don't know if like you found that was a lot easier approach for you, rather than like, let's say for Tom, like he said to me, here's your meal plan, here's lots of food, you can have one meal out, but again, I think he did give me a calorie thingy, but I never really calculated it. But I would have rather have had like a little bit every day than like one massive off-plan meal, and then like maybe like once every 2 weeks where like Tom goes, right, today you can have an off-plan. Something sporadic like that would have helped me. But the free meal, like 3 calories, I think really helpful. Like, how did you find that, Hannah, this time? Because obviously it's your first post show with Dan.
Yeah, to be fair, it was so much better. And it's like, from like, for the first couple of weeks, meal plan was 10-10. But what I did learn from the first year is that I needed time off completely, like just full stop. Because I know everyone will drill in and be like, stick to your meal plan, which we are, and it's like, stick to the basics of the meal plan. But it's that whole thing of like, everybody is different. So for me, I was coming off the thing and I was thinking, fuck, am I allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
It's like, I need to be on this bang on now. And then it's that whole case of, I knew I was going on holiday and I was having a bit more meals out. And then again, this will come along with like being honest with other people as well, because you'll see everybody, and not comparing yourself to people, so many points to remember. Like, you'll see everybody's meal plans going on the stories and everything of what they're eating. So for me to stay accountable to myself, I kept putting them on my stories. But then I knew from the year before, I need a mental break, because if I do it for too long on a meal plan, I just won't want to do it at all. Because I know some people are really good at being like 10 to 100% on meal plan. But for me personally, like from December, I needed like a little break just to be like, not even if it fits your macros, it's just more be sensible of, here's your breakfast, here's your lunch, here's your pre-workout, here's your post-workout. So for me, it like takes the foot off the pedal. Is that the right saying? Is that the catchphrase? Take the foot off the pedal. And then then I had my holiday in December, Christmas happened, and then come January, I was like in a fresh mindset, ready to go again.
I think that's like a very good kind of way that you've done that. Like, I think if you have the knowledge of nutrition, and you know like each nutritional value, like for example, like I'm very naive where I haven't calculated my calories currently, but if I wanted to, I could do it without having my Like, intuitive eating, I'm assuming, is something that you kind of you kept within it, but you didn't have the grammages there to put the pressure on you. And I think it's really important what you said as well, is like I have a few clients who competed last year, and they said the pressure and seeing people finding post show easy and then some people finding it hard, and they just didn't really know what they were meant to be feeling. And to be honest with you, no one does. Like, whatever you don't,
nobody knows what they're doing and everybody's making it up as they go along. But it's like, as long as you're honest with it all.
Especially with your coach. Oh my God, that's the one thing that I think, I always say this, like, my honesty with Tom is the one thing that probably saved me from going from feeling bad, not eating, like restricting myself because I'd eaten off plan the next day, and doing more cardio, and just getting into that cycle where I was like, not binge eating, because I know it's very an exclusive term for like disorders and stuff, but like genuinely just binging in the evening, like feeling shit about it, doing cardio and doing like eating less, but then feeling so hungry in the evenings that I'd binge again. And like finally was honest with Tom and like the people around me, and he was like, that then all of a sudden it just subsided. So like if you're not doing stuff like that post show, just know you're not being naughty. You're not going to get told off. I mean, if your coach does tell you off, then maybe go to a different coach, but they should have the understanding, because I'm assuming they would have been through it before, or coached people who have been through it before, and don't feel like you let anyone down. You've not let yourself down, you've not let your coach down or your friends down. You're just trying to figure out how the fuck you are meant to deal with this. And no, not us three can help you, but we can provide you with our experience. Like anything you feel, whether that's sadness, happiness, ease, difficulty, it's normal.
Yeah, and everyone is so different as well, right? Because some people stay quite lean after the show, and you look at them 6-8 weeks after and they're like 4 pounds, 5 pounds up, and great. And then some people might put on a lot of weight in the first 1 to 2 weeks, and that's fine. I think there's no, you have to stay really lean or you have to put X amount of weight on. Like, it's all about what you feel works best for you. And I think the more you do it, you realize, like, actually I didn't like that way, or that actually worked better for me. And once you've done it a few times, like, you have a better idea in your head of actually how you want to approach it yourself and what you feel best doing. Because like for me, last time I competed, I was like, I want to stay leaner after my show. Like, I want to, and I got like 6, 7, 8 weeks post show, and I literally could have still slept on stage. Like, I think I was like 4 pounds up, and I was still doing cardio, and I'm not doing that again because it took me like 8 months to get my flipping period back. So it's like things like that you learn, and it's like, okay, next time I need to like push my food higher straight away. So I think you just figure out as you go, actually this isn't working or this is working. But I think it's just so important to remember there's no right or wrong way. Every coach does it different. Every person feels different after a show. And I think, the first time is always going to be hard, I think. And I'm just putting this out there because obviously I have a lot of clients that aren't competing, and some of them do listen to this podcast as well, that this is a sport. It's an extreme sport. It's not a day-to-day thing. And obviously it is like you're pushing your body to a limit, to an extreme, aren't you, going through this? So the reverse side, or the other side, is always going to be difficult because it is an extreme sport where you're pushing things to the absolute limit.
Yeah, I also think the period thing is very important. Like, whether you're a natural athlete or an assisted athlete, bloods. Get your bloods done. Not straight after a prep, because they're going to be absolutely trolleyed and trashed. But like, like a fair few weeks, like maybe like, I think it's like 4 to 6, I think. Don't quote me on that. When you've started to get your bloods done, you need to cater that into your price. It's expensive, but you must do it, because I got my period back quite quickly, probably because I was eating a load of crap. But I got mine back within like, I think it was 8 weeks. And some people really struggle to get it back a year after, and then they get their bloods done and realize, oh shit, that's it. But it's so important to get your bloods done, because of, like you said, we're such an extreme sport. Like, assisted or natural, you need to know what things you need to better to get your hormones in the right place, because otherwise you could end up feeling like trash for months and months and months and months.
Yeah, and on the bloods thing, like, I was like, oh, I don't need them done, I'm fine. Like, you feel fine, and like everything's moving well, so you're just like, nah, this is right. I am a very naive person, clearly. I'm just like, yeah, everything's good. And then when something isn't going right, and I'm like, okay, prep is around the corner, you should go out, like, you're being told to go. I found it so interesting, like all the different parts and everything, and like stuff that I wouldn't have thought would be low was low, and crazy.
Like, I went to Manchester this weekend to like choose my bikini colors and stuff, and to have the group pose in, and Nat, the Time to Shine bikini maker, she had her bloods done. Now she's not into, like, she's maybe competing, but she's more of like, just like into training and stuff. She was feeling really fatigued and all that kind of stuff, and she went to the NHS, or like, this was, and they just throw antidepressants at you. But she got then her bloods done with the blood lab, and they literally just said to her, like, no, like, you just are really low on this, you're really low on this, and you just need to supplement for them, and you don't need these antidepressants. Like, you just need, like, it's actually crazy. Like, the blood, if you get like the full kind of blood thing, it's just like quite expensive, but it's worth it. Like, they are like, if you go to someone to get your test results read to you, like, they will tell you so many things that you wouldn't even thought of that will benefit you long term. And because you are putting your body in stress in your off season and in a prep, because you're going to high body weights, then all-time low body weights, your body is like, it needs certain things to work, and you just need to know whether your bloods come out perfectly per sound. Now you know, if they don't, you need to
work on
get your period back, because that's a main factor for females. If you don't get your period back, like, there's something wrong.
What would you say is your, like, some of your tips for like dealing with post-show mentally, or what you've learned from like experience from previous shows?
For me, my thing is just being honest with people. like in how I'm feeling like after the show, because the first year I didn't tell anyone, because like you don't know what to expect, you don't want to tell anyone. It's like if you're struggling, you're just a bit like, it's fine.
Isn't it?
Yeah, because you don't hear anybody else struggling, so you're like, oh, this is fine. Then after the first year, I remember there was my coach had a call with like 4 of us in like a little group chat lasting for like an hour. That was so helpful, because it was the case of like we were all in the same boat, but we'd all waited like 4 to 5 weeks to actually say anything. And then why didn't we just say this before? And then at this year round, like I say, even at the time, like no lollipops and not orange juice and stuff isn't a problem. But that's the point. I was like, oh my God, I've had too much of this. Whereas last year I'd have been like, no, well, the year before I'd been like, no, it's fine. But like, even to the point of saying to my mum or like people at work, if I am wanting a protein bar, tell me to go and eat my meal, because I don't need to spend like £3 on a protein bar that I don't want, but because it's there, I can have it now. I could have it. I'm just like, no, you're okay. Just go and eat your food. That's upstairs, and just stick with that. So it's just more the case of being open and honest with people, I'd say, and the coach and friends, because everybody's going through the same thing, whether it's same or different. But yeah.
What would yours be, Leah?
I think the one I said about you know, before, about kind of not about just trying to stick, and again, this is individual to me, what helped me, right? But just sticking to my meals and not having food in the house. So if I want to have something different, go out for food rather than just having it in. And I think something else is just, obviously your coach will dictate this for you anyway, but bringing your food up high straight away for me helps a lot, because it just takes away that feeling of, oh my God, like I'm so starving all the time, because I felt like I was eating a lot of food straight away. And also what Dan does, which I think is brilliant, is he gets all your plans sorted before you compete. So you already know before you compete what your post show is going to look like food wise, and he gets like a list of food off you that you want to eat, and basically creates you a meal plan that has all that food in. So it's really good, because already you're like excited about your meals again, you're like looking forward to your food, you know there's a lot more food in. So I think that worked super well, and that was really good. And then one more thing that really helped me out last time compared to the time before was when I competed the time before last, I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go out for a meal, I'm going to go for a weekend away. And I just ended up feeling so out of routine. Whereas last time I made sure that I didn't put as many plans in. So it meant I could stick to like my meals, I could stick to my training. And I think that for the first 4 or 5 weeks just helped me like get into a good place before I started going out again a bit more. So I think not trying to cram too much socially into the first bit post show, because it is, your body is essentially recovering, isn't it? So I think just playing that a bit steadier really helps.
The thing, it's like your body is still recovering, because you just get you're like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm all right, I'm strong again. And I just remember Dan was just being like, remember, we're not actually building muscle right now. It's like, yeah, it's fine, I can deadlift.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like, probably shouldn't.
I remember going to after I was like, oh my God, I want to do some really cool things. So me and Will went to F45, you know, like fitness class. And I think it was about a week post, maybe a week and a half post show. And I remember literally being in the class and literally feeling like I was going to faint. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not okay right now, you know, because I was so close post show and I thought I was okay. And then going into like a high intensity class, like I was like, I'm so faint, so dizzy. So I think just I need to take it steady next time.
I think like what you said, Hannah, is like the end date of prep is not the show day. The end prep is 4 to 6 weeks after. And it's like understanding that, would you do this in a prep? No, because you're still in preparation to like come out of the prep. So I think like what you kind of said is like, remember, like it's not done yet. You're technically, you're still probably, you're in the body composition maybe of like 6 weeks out and your health is fucking down. So could you do this at 4 to 6 weeks out? No. So you shouldn't be doing it now, even though you've got you.
And the other thing, in terms of like events, what you were going on about, don't put too many events in that will pressurize you, like holidays and photo shoots, because twice I have done so both years I've done a photo shoot like 6 to 8 weeks out. I'm like, yeah, this will be great fun, but my mind was not in it and it didn't help at all, because in the end you kind of think, yeah, I can last it for another 8 weeks, but if anything that kind of like puts more stress on you. Obviously everybody is different, but for me, like say I wouldn't be booking a holiday a few weeks after, because I know that my mind personally wouldn't be ready to do that, and same with the shoot.
That's what Tom says. when he hears, like, because obviously we all tell him like, oh, by the way, we're going on holiday. He's always like, whatever the fuck you do not book it straight after your show. He was like, it's the worst thing you can fucking do. He's like, please don't. He literally begs you not to do that, because he knows, like, the thing that happened to me with my birthday, it just, then all of a sudden you get this too much freedom, no accountability, no structure, no routine, and it's from one extreme to the other, and your body's like, whoa, and then you're like, whoa, and then you come back and it's like, wait, straight back into routine? Absolutely not. It's just like, I think one thing that helped me gaining weight, like maybe like 4 to 6 weeks after post show as well, is like, I think the hardest thing is the transition, because your mindset has to change, but it takes a long time for your mindset to change from I've got to get lean to now I'm actually getting softer. What? So it doesn't, it's quite hard, because you're like, my aim for so long was to be lean and to be stage ready. Like now it's hard. So I found like, once my body had recovered, like genuinely like focusing on my progression at the gym, my strength and all that kind of thing, and getting stronger and like preparing for potentially when I want to compete again, like that kept me away from like too many negative body image issues, because I was more so like, right, I'm really strong at the gym. This is really cool. I missed training. Like you just have to, because you've had a target, you need to create, I found that I needed to create another target, whether that had been like, right, now I want to get my numbers back up from where they were, and then get stronger and stronger in that kind of sense. Found that then taking the, well, but I look softer, but I'm getting fucking stronger, really helped me.
Yeah, because it is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, with the weight gain, I was excited for it, because I didn't like what I looked like towards the end of prep. Because by the time you flex, you're like, oh yeah, it's sound. But you know, when you just stood in normal clothes, I looked horrific. Like my bum was just flat, and I was like, I cannot wait to put some fat on and just feel better. It was just when the cheeks started changing. I was a bit like, I can back now.
Yeah, literally. It's like, I think because as females as well, like, no matter how muscly you are, like, I genuinely just think like you put like, unless you're like IFBB figure or whatever, like, I just find that like when you're skinny and like lean, sorry, not the word skinny, but when you're lean, like you put a hoodie on and you just look like a crackhead down the street. Like you don't look like muscular. Like you don't look like, and but with men, like they're lean, but they're fucking massive. So you can tell that they train, but you can't tell that us girls train in an off season, or you know, when we've got hoodie on when we're really lean. Like it's like with men, but you can tell, and it's fucking annoying.
And also, I think what really helps as well, because I feel like I struggled with this a lot the first couple of times I competed, is like getting your head around the difference in what you look like, because it does change very rapidly after you've competed. And it's like, realistically, would you want to feel like that all year round? Because it's not nice, like, not having the energy to turn your head around when someone says your name, and like thinking, oh my God, I need to get up and go to the toilet and I really can't be able to get out of my chair right now, and like feeling starving all the time, and like just feeling literally exhausted. Like it's not a nice feeling. So I think just
it is
remembering that when you're starting to regain some body fat and being like, actually, like I feel really good, my energy's good, like I can spend time with family and friends, like, and females are meant to carry body fat, right? Females aren't meant to be shredded. So I think it's just reminding yourself that that is temporary, and you know, you don't need to be like that all the time.
Yeah, it's always going to be a shock. So it's like when I started noticing that my cheeks were coming back, you never notice it yourself, do you? Like, you know, if you're gaining weight or like losing weight, you never notice. But when you do start to notice, that's when I was like, if I'm noticing, everybody's noticing. And I was like, oh my gosh. But then at the same time, you just have to remind yourself that nobody gives a shit. Like, nobody cares. The only person that cares is you. So if you can flip it on its head and, like you say, do things that are better. Well, like, say my go-tos in off-season are like squat, bench, deadlift. So I was just like, I'm going to keep doing it because I know that's making me happy. So if I am having all this food, whether I'm building muscle or building strength or not, I know that when I'm in the gym, my time, headphones are on, do the heavy stuff, and I'll feel better for it. Like, yes, from a bodybuilder vibes and whatever, but I'm just like, no, I know this makes me happy. I feel stronger for it. So I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for the next like few months.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. It's just shifting mindset. And it's, for me personally, I think it took me 6 months to actually get to kind of like genuine like happiness with my off season, because I always had that lingering, oh god, like, you know, like worried about what I was doing, a bit cautious post show. Like I remember, I think I've said this in the podcast before, like I think a year and a half away from show, Tom was like, we're gonna diet, and I freaked, absolutely freaked. I just couldn't, because I had felt like I'd only recovered, and I just remember being like, it's not been like, I can't go through that again. I just can't, like, I can't deal with it, because it genuinely just was so tough. And I remember how tough it was. And then I remember like post show, and I'm like, fucking hell, like I haven't had enough time like feeling myself again, personally for me. And I think it's just knowing yourself as well. Like your coach, yeah, will tell you what he or she thinks needs to be done, but you also need to, I think, listen to yourself. And that's the important thing, because then when Tom said, right, just tell me when you're ready, it was on my terms. And then within 4 weeks, I was like coming towards the terms of, you know what, like you can do it. But I just had to allow myself to kind of, right, I'm dieting again, and that's fine, I'm gonna be okay. Like it's the transition period, like even from off season to dieting, and dieting to reversal into an off season, like your mindset consistently changes as a bodybuilder, and it's just allowing that time to give yourself time to allow that change. Don't think you're going to wake up post show and go, right, I'm going to be strong now. No.
Yeah, I think one thing as well is don't be scared of post show, because I know everybody will say it's hard and everything, which it is, but it's that whole thing, like if you're on prep, you want to enjoy prep. So like I think when I joined Dan last year, I was apprehensive about doing prep because of post show, and I'm like, well, that was like an eight months away problem. Like, why are you bothered about it now? Like, just do one day at a time, get through prep, then when post show happens, we'll worry about that then. So it's like, be aware of it, but don't feel like you can't do it because of that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like we're scaring them, but we're not trying.
Yeah, it's getting the balance, because it's like, be aware, but also like it is okay, and it is one day at a time. At the same time, personally, like, I'll prep for the mental challenge as well as the physical. So it's like I'll get to post show and I'll just see it's another little challenge for myself, but it's just a different kind of thing. So it's like, okay, how are we going to overcome this today? And then that's how you progress, rather than being like, oh, sack it, it's post show, do what I want. Be like, no, this is what it's teaching me. This is how I can flip it on its head and take it from there. It's just how you do it.
That's cool.
Having a positive mindset towards it.
This is it. And if you go into it negatively, it's like with anything, like I genuinely, is it what's that thing where, is it affirmation? I don't know if it's affirmations, but I genuinely believe in the you think positively, positive things will happen.
Yeah,
it's like manifestation.
I genuinely believe in that. Like it's very hard to constantly say positive, but I always find that when I'm positive, things won't bother me as much. But when I'm constantly in a negative mindset, I constantly think the world's against me. And then every little thing is like, let's say this lip gloss lid fell on the floor, and I was just like in a negative headspace anyway, that's the end of the motherfucking world. So I do believe in like go into it positively and try and enjoy it, be aware, and just if you're positive towards it, something will work where you'll be positively affected by it, and something positive will come out.
Yeah. This is what, you're gonna. What is it trying to teach you? What are you learning from it? And it's like, oh, okay, it's teaching me this. So even like, after my show, I was writing, right, week 1, this is what's happened. Week 2, this is what happened. Week 3, this is what happened. So I was like, this is the same as what happened last year. So now, even coming into prep this year, I'll just look back at the notes and be like, okay, this is fine. This is what happened. But like on the same path.
Yeah. I think post show is like, it's now spoken about a lot more, which is really good. But it's just one of those things that I thought it's not still spoken about enough, because what I find is it's not spoken about enough when people are going through post show, but then after they've come out of post show, that's when they decide to talk about it.
Yeah.
In reality, like I think like you should be talking about it. And that's one thing that I did in my first prep, is I made sure like people knew, like you said, like I am struggling and it is hard, and I told everyone that, because I almost thought, well, if I'm struggling, there must be other people struggling, and that I want them to also know, like, I'm struggling too. Like, you're not alone. Like, I'm struggling too, whether your struggle's different. Like, it's hard, and I think that's why a lot of my clients have struggled as well, because they've seen their peers saying that they're not struggling, so they don't feel like they should be struggling, or that this and that. Do you know what I mean? So it's just something that I think people just need to be more honest about, because I think as a community it will help us.
Yeah, and remember that practice, it gets better every time you do it. I think it gets a bit better.
What are you doing? Hannah, are you doing anything different this prep, or is it like in the sense of like any plans apart from the pro show and stuff? Have you got your prep plans yet? Could you start soon or not?
No. Well, I know it's going to be longer. Well, we'll be starting at I say high weight. It's a high weight. So yeah, it'll be 5 weeks longer. And then in total, yeah, it'll be 5 weeks longer in total. So that'll be fun. We'll see how that goes.
How many weeks are you doing?
At the same time?
No, because like you had a mini cut, didn't you?
Yeah, I just did a mini cut, so I'm starting I think I'm doing a 20-week prep, so mine starts at the end of May.
So I'm gonna do 25 weeks, so I've got enough time. Because before, from the start of my prep last year, it was 20 weeks to the Midlands, and then it's 25 weeks to finals. So that's where I got leaner. So it was going to be 25, and then I think it's like a 5-week gap, 4-week gap between finals and worlds. I don't know. I'm making dates up.
Because you're both pros, obviously. Like, just a quick question to kind of like finish off. Are you just planning to compete with PCA, or are you potentially competing in other federations? Because obviously if you compete in other federations, there's that whole aspect where you might lose your pro card. Like, are you just aiming for PCA, or are you going to aim for other federations, or like both of you? What's your plan?
Okay.
No, I'm going to PCA, because at the end of the day, like, it's just my vibe.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of connect with what's what, don't you? So yeah, PCA.
And I really want to do one this year. Like, I really, really want to do one, just because I think of Two Bros, I'm like, cool, that's what I want. It's where it affiliates to where I want to be. But PCA is just like, I love it. I love it.
Quite cool vibe.
Like, yeah.
Watch shows. I'm like, I can't wait to go and watch. Just sit there.
I'm gonna do the same as well. I think I was like an hour and a bit. I was like, shall I don't know, but I think I'm just gonna do PCA. I think, yeah, because it'll be 2 shows, and I really want to do the Worlds, because obviously it's in Spain, and I just think I've never competed abroad. Like, that'll be amazing, and I feel like I'll know quite a lot of people now within PCA, so I feel like that'll just be incredible.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, I think I did actually find a show in between the 2 shows, so, but again, I don't know if I want to put him.
Is that the American one?
It's no, so I did actually look at that. So PCA have got no, I have actually got my eye on that a little bit. PCA have got a pro show in Florida.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah. Well, I was actually looking at FitX and NFM UK are doing like a Night of Champions one, which is like a collab thing, which is in the middle. But I'm a little bit apprehensive about going to another federation outside of PCA when it's before the Worlds. I mean, I know it's probably not going to affect things, but I just think first season as a pro, it's probably better just to stick with PCA.
Do you sign a contract at all?
No, we don't sign anything. So, but I just think, I don't know if it messed my head up going into a PCA show knowing that I've competed with another fed.
That's the thing, because
yeah,
I'm just saying this whole kind of you lose your pro card thing because it's what I've heard. But I know with like Two Bros and IFBB, like you genuinely sign a contract, and it's like you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you can't compete. Like, but I don't know if it's more of a respect thing, because obviously like PCA don't really have that many pros yet, so it's almost like, would you actually lose your pro card because in a way they need more pros? So it's like, it's just something that I think maybe like if you would want to do it, just ask them. Like, is that a rule? Because obviously you've not signed a contract at all. So it would be under what jurisdiction?
Yeah. But I do think that PCA show in Florida will be amazing. But I think if that was at the end of the shows, I'll definitely
this is what I was saying.
An amazing holiday to Florida, but I just feel like I'd be like there
to America,
and then you'd have to fly to Spain, so I don't know if that would be a bit like faffy at the end of prep.
No, I struggled to get to the bloody destination of show day, let alone travel to America for like 12 hours.
Can you give me 1 minute?
No.
Can you give me 1 minute? Can you guys just carry on talking? I've got a delivery.
You can carry on talking. Yeah, I feel like Florida would be incredible, but I don't know, with it being in the middle of 2 shows, if it would be like feasible, you know, flying there and then flying back, and then I'd be like, I want to go and sunbathe, and you can't really sunbathe when you're like,
yeah, I was saying that to Jodie yesterday. If Worlds wasn't a thing and it was only the finals, then that would be such a good vibe to go to. I'm not going to America and not being able to eat.
I know.
Like, yeah, it's not my.
I can't, like, I will say one thing, but fingers crossed I'm going to be doing an international show as well, and I'm so excited for it.
That is exciting.
I think it's just way cool because, like, I feel like it just brings excitement, because when you're like traveling to Birmingham, like, or like London, it's just like, when you're going to like another country, it's probably stressful, but like, it's fucking awesome. That must be so cool. So I'm excited to do it, and I'm excited to see like other people do it, but I definitely need advice. So anyone who's listening to this, please tell me what I should do, because I wouldn't even know what to begin. Like, what food can you take away? Yeah, like, can I take a stove? Like, can I take a microwave? Like, how many days on the show do I need to be there? Like, is it a week? Is it 3 days?
Oh god, yeah. Imagine how many suitcases you just take to like Birmingham for an hour trip. The car is full when I go for a show day.
You know what terrifies me? What do you do about your food? Because like, I remember when I went on holiday last year, I tried to take oats with me through the hand thing, and they were like, no, sorry, liquid. And they threw my oats in the bin, and I was like, so what happened? They were cooked. They were cooked.
Because they did that with Reese, but Reese is very good at chatting shit. And basically, if it's like, you know, like a really kind of like a liquidy kind of solution, so if you volumize that a lot, it's classed as a liquid. But if you were to put oats in a stodgier mix and then put water in it to make it more like liquidy, after you can. But I think what a lot of people do is they will take like things like rice and chicken, or like rice cakes and stuff for the plane, but they'll pack all their food in their main luggage, because you're allowed to take certain foods. I don't know if I know there's like a limit on meat and stuff, I'm not entirely sure, but like, I think like I think it's more so like internationally it's good, but it's also very expensive.
Yeah, maybe we should interview someone who's done an international show so we can like interrogate them.
Yeah, we can be like, so we want this for the podcast, and then we're actually But yeah, it's been a really good chat. I really enjoyed this podcast. How have you found it, Hannah, being on because you said you haven't been on Zoom for a while?
Oh, good. I've been honoured to be a guest.
It's been lovely to have you. I feel like you're very fitting, because obviously you train with Leah as well. And obviously like we're all looking to compete this year. So it's kind of nice to hear someone who's literally just been through a post show as well, because that was a topic that we definitely wanted to cover at some point as well.
Yeah. Right.
Do you want to like pop your Instagram name so people can, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this will already follow you, but do you want to just pop your name in so everyone can follow you?
At Hannah Gordon Coaching.
No.
Can't say the name.
Make sure you give her a follow, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully, you know, you've learned something from it. We don't want to scare you about post show, but just be mindful that it is there, it does happen, and there'll be emotions at any part of bodybuilding, but post show I think is kind of out there a lot. But thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and give us a comment and a tag.
Thank you.
Thanks.